If your mind can take one small worry and turn it into 100 imaginary problems, this video is for you. You know the feeling. You lie down at night. Your body is tired, but your mind refuses to stop. It replays things you said. It imagines things that might go wrong. It worries about people, money, health, the future. You try to relax, but your thoughts keep pulling you back into a fight you never agreed to start. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are simply exhausted from carrying things that were never yours to carry. Today, we are going to change that. Not with empty positivity, not with quotes printed on pretty backgrounds, but with something older, harder, and far more useful. The discipline of the Stoics. Let me be clear from the start. Stoicism is not about feeling nothing. It is not about pretending you have no fear. A Stoic still feels worry. A Stoic still feels pressure. The difference is simple. A trained mind feels fear, but it does not obey fear. You are not weak because worry appears. You become weak only when worry begins to make your decisions. So tonight we begin to take that power back. Stay with me. Slow your breathing, and let's forge a calmer mind, one lesson at a time. Lesson 1. Most of your suffering lives in your imagination. Here is the trap. You think you are worried about real problems, but most of what tortures you has not happened yet. You are not suffering from reality. You are suffering from a movie your mind keeps playing. The Stoics understood this clearly. Seneca said it simply. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. In plain language, this means most of your pain comes from things you only think might happen. Think about your week. How many of the disasters you feared actually came true? Almost none. Yet your mind treated each one as if it were certain. A modern example: you send a message. The other person does not reply for an hour. In that hour, your mind writes a full story. They are angry. You said something wrong. The relationship is ending. Then they reply, they were just busy. You suffered for nothing. Here is your action. When you catch your mind predicting disaster, stop and ask one question. Is this happening right now, or am I imagining it? If it is not happening now, label it. Say to yourself, this is imagination, not reality. You do not have to fight the thought. You only have to refuse to believe it blindly. Remember this. A thought is not a fact. Loud does not mean true. But this is only the first layer. Because even if you stop imagining disasters, you still have a deeper habit to break. Lesson 2. You are trying to control things that were never yours to control. This is the root of almost all anxiety. You worry about what people think of you. You worry about the future. You worry about outcomes. But look closely, none of those are fully in your hands. The Stoics divided life into two simple categories: things you control and things you do not. You control your actions. You control your effort. You control your response. You do not control the weather, other people, the economy, or the past. Anxiety grows when you spend your energy on the second list. Epictetus, a man who was once a slave, taught this with brutal honesty. He said real freedom comes from focusing only on what is yours to decide. A modern example: you have an interview tomorrow. You can prepare, you can practice, you can show up calm. That is yours. Whether they choose you is not yours. If you tie your peace to their decision, you will suffer no matter what. Here is your action. Take whatever is worrying you right now. Split it into two parts. What can I actually control here? What is outside my hands? Then give all your energy to the first part, and consciously release the second. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. You stop wasting strength on things that will never obey you. But here is where most overthinkers lose the battle. Because knowing this is easy, Living it is uncomfortable. Lesson 3. You keep replaying the past, as if you can change it. Part of your mind lives in tomorrow. Another part is trapped in yesterday. You replay old mistakes. You imagine what you should have said. You judge a past version of yourself with knowledge you did not have back then. But here is the truth. The past is the most fixed thing in the universe. Nothing you think can move it even an inch. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who ruled the most powerful empire on earth, reminded himself daily that the only moment any man owns is the present, not the past, not the future, only now. A modern example. You make a mistake at work. It is over by noon, but your mind keeps you in it for 3 more days. The event lasted minutes. Your suffering lasted days. That extra pain was not caused by the mistake. It was caused by replaying it. Here is your action. When your mind drags you back to the past, ask one thing: is there a lesson here I can use, or am I just punishing myself? If there is a lesson, take it. Then let the rest go. You are not here to be your own jailer. Remember this. Learn from the past, but do not live inside it. And this leads us to something deeper. Lesson 4. Action is the cure for an anxious mind. A worried mind hates stillness. The more you sit and think, the louder the worry becomes. Overthinking pretends to be problem-solving, but often it is just fear walking in circles. The Stoics were not dreamers. They were men of action. They believed virtue was not something you felt. It was something you did. When you act, even in a small way, something changes. The mind sees movement. It feels control. The noise begins to drop. A modern example. You are overwhelmed by a big task. You think about it for hours and feel worse. Then you do one small piece of it. Suddenly the fear shrinks, not because the task got easier, but because you stopped feeding the fear with stillness. Here is your action. The next time worry traps you, do not try to think your way out. Move. Stand up. Take one small action connected to the problem. Write one line. Send one message. Take one step. Action breaks the spell that thinking cannot. Remember this. You cannot think your way to calm. Sometimes you must act your way there. But there is a harder truth waiting. Lesson 5. You cannot find calm only when you need it. You must train it before you need it. Most people wait for crisis to arrive, then hope to stay calm. It does not work that way. Calm is not something you find in the storm. It is something you build before the storm comes. The Stoics practiced hardship on purpose. They would imagine loss. They would face discomfort willingly, not because they enjoyed pain, but because they wanted to be ready when life turned hard. A mind that has practiced calm in small moments will hold steady in big ones. A modern example. A person who never controls their breathing in quiet moments will not suddenly control it in panic. But a person who practices calm daily has built a foundation. When the storm hits, they do not collapse. They have rehearsed staying upright. Here is your action. Every day, practice calm on purpose. Sit with your breathing for a few minutes. Let an annoyance pass without reacting. Choose patience in a small situation. You are not wasting time. You are training the muscle you will need later. Remember this. Calm is not found. Calm is forged. And here is where it becomes uncomfortable. Lesson 6. You do not have to believe every thought your mind creates. Your mind produces thousands of thoughts a day. Most of them are noise. Some of them are lies. A few of them are useful, but you treat almost all of them as truth. That is the real problem. A thought says, you will fail, and you believe it like it is a fact. A thought says, everyone is judging you, and you accept it without question. The Stoics taught that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. In simple words, the situation is rarely the problem. Your opinion about it is. A modern example: two people lose the same job. One thinks, "My life is over." The other thinks, "This is hard, but I will adapt." Same event, two different worlds. The difference was not the situation, it was the thought they chose to believe. Here is your action. When a heavy thought arrives, do not swallow it whole. Step back and ask, is this true? Is this certain? Is this helping me? You are allowed to question your own mind. You are not its slave. You are its observer. Remember this: you are not every thought you have. You are the one who decides which ones to follow. But the deepest lesson is still ahead. Lesson 7. Your character matters more than your comfort. Here is a quiet truth most people avoid. You will not always feel calm. You will not always feel safe. Life will press on you whether you are ready or not. So the goal is not a life without pressure. The goal is to become the kind of person who stays steady under it. The Stoics did not chase comfort. They built character. They believed how you respond reveals who you are. Anyone can be calm when life is easy. Strength is what you show when life is hard. A modern example: two people face the same bad news. One panics, blames and falls apart. The other feels the weight, breathes and decides to act with dignity. Same blow, different character. And that character was not given. It was trained, choice by choice, over time. Here is your action. The next time life pushes you, ask a different question. Not, how do I escape this discomfort? But, who do I want to be while I face it? Choose your response on purpose. That choice is always yours. Remember this: comfort is temporary. Character is what stays. So let us bring this together. Your mind will keep producing worry. That is what minds do. But you are no longer the helpless audience of your own thoughts. You now know that most of your fear is imagination. You know that peace begins when you focus only on what you control. You know that the past cannot be changed, only learned from. You know that action quiets the noise that thinking creates. You know that calm must be trained before the storm. You know that you do not have to believe every thought, and you know that character matters more than comfort. None of this makes you cold, it makes you steady. You are not trying to kill your emotions. You are learning to stop being ruled by them. So tonight, when your mind starts its old game, when it tries to drag you into the future or trap you in the past, pause, breathe, and remember, your thoughts may be loud, but loud does not mean true. Your worries may feel urgent, but urgent does not mean real. You do not have to win every argument with your mind. You only have to stop obeying it blindly. A calm mind is not a gift, it is a discipline. And starting tonight, that discipline belongs to you.